S-Chand presents educational video lectures as per the AICTE curriculum. Difficult concepts made easy. Study anywhere, anytime.
Over here we are discussing periodic properties. In the first part we discussed 2 points, effective nuclear charge and penetration of orbital. In this part we are going to discuss about the how different energies of orbitals vary, variation of s, p, d and f orbital energies in different properties, and the last topic is our electronic configuration, which is a very important topic. Hello everyone, welcome to S-Chand Academy. Myself Dr. Garima Gaba, and if you want to read more about this topic, then you can refer to the book by S-Chand Publishing. The link of the ebook is given in the description box below. So before knowing about how these energies vary, we have to know about the shapes of these orbitals. The shapes of S, P, D and F are different. First of all, this is very important for you to know that shapes of S, P, D and F orbitals are completely different. S is your spherical in nature, P is having a dumbbell shaped, and there are 3 P orbital, Px, Py, Pz. D orbitals are having double dumbbell shaped. There are again 5 D orbital, dxy, dxz, dyz, dx square minus y square and dz square, and F orbitals are having a complicated shapes, but they are also very different in nature as compared to s, p, d orbitals. So how these energy differs, that we can see over here. So energies of electron in a single atom can be determined solely by the principal quantum number. Now there are 4 quantum numbers we all know, that is n is your principal quantum number, L is your azimuthal or angular momentum quantum number, ML is your magnetic quantum number, and S is your spin quantum number. All these 4 quantum numbers will define the energy of any electrons in the periodic table, however large your element is. So this is your principal quantum number N. So when we are considering only single atom, over there energy can be determined only by the principal quantum number N. You don't have to go into the next series if there is only one electron. But mostly our elements are multi-electrons. There are more than one electrons, right? So in the multi-electrons, we have to consider the quantum values of N, L and so on. So orbitals can be ranked in the increasing order of orbital energies like this. So these are the values, or these are the order by which you can find out the orbital energy. So the orbital energies or the energies of electrons which are going in these orbitals, the 1s is the minimum one, 2s and 2p are more or less same, 3s and 3p and 3d are more or less same, 4s, 4p, 4d, 4f are more or less same. Because we are considering only n. So as and when the value of your principal quantum number is increasing, the value of energy is increasing. Whatever electron is going in these orbital, when n is equals to 1, it is having minimum energy. When n is equals to 2, like over here, this is 2s and 2p orbital, it is having energy higher than 1 orbital. When n is equals to 3, 3 orbitals are possible, that is 3s, 3p and 3d. Right? So all these are having similar energies only in the case of our single electron, single atom. And when we are considering n is equals to 4, so we are having 4s, 4p, 4d, 4f, all these are having equal energy. But this is not the case in the multi-electron species. However, the energy of electron in the multi-electron atoms, it depends on both principal quantum number and azimuthal quantum number. So in that case, it depends on both these, principal quantum number and your azimuthal or angular momentum quantum number. L is known as azimuthal quantum number and angular momentum quantum number as well. So when we are considering multi-electron system, we have to consider both the values. In that case, 3s, 3p, 3d, they won't be having the same energy. Same is the case with all these 4 orbitals. 4s, 4p, 4d and 4f will not have the same energy, because over here we haven't considered whether the electron is coming in s, p, d and f orbital. We are only considering, okay, these electrons are entering in the fourth orbital, so they are having the same energy. But in multi-electron system, it won't be the case. So you have to consider both the values n as well as l. principal quantum number value and your azimuthal quantum number value. So let's see how the values can be calculated. This difference in energy of various subshell residing in the same shell is mainly attributed to mutual repulsion among the electrons in multi-electron atom. So why it is the case, like for single electron atom we can calculate simply by the value of principal quantum number, but in the multi-electron atom we have to see the value of shell as well as subshell, N as well as L. The reason over here is because the electrons are repelling each other. As you know, opposite attracts and the like charges repel each other. So all the electrons are negatively charged species, so they repel each other. So in that case, we have to consider this factor, whether your electron is coming in s orbital, p and d or f. That is what is our topic is. What would be the variation of these energies, whether our electrons are entering in these orbitals. So in multi-electron atom, there is a repulsive force acting between various electrons apart from the attractive force between the nucleus and electron. So nucleus is positively charged, electrons are negatively charged. So all the electrons are getting attracted towards the nucleus. But since electrons are near to each other and they are all are negatively charged, so they will also repel each other. So system is stabilized by the interaction between these positive species and the negative charged species. Thus, the stability of an electron in a multi-electron atom is dependent on the total attractive interaction and the repulsive interaction. So, we have to consider both the interaction, attractive as well as repulsive interaction. Attractive interaction is between nucleus positively charged and the electrons negatively charged, and repulsive interactions are between the electrons. So you have to consider both the interactions. The electrons in an atom is only stable if the total attractive interaction is more than the repulsive interaction. So if there is repulsive interaction in the whole entire system, then it will not be stable. So attractive interaction has to be more than that of repulsive interaction. Only in that case the system would be stable. Let's move ahead. The order in which electrons are placed into the orbital is calculated by the Aufbau principle. Aufbau principle is the principle which we use to find out the value of different orbital energies in which electrons are entering. IUPAC defines the Aufbau principle as, this is the definition of Aufbau principle, a rule for building up the electronic configuration of atoms and molecule. It states that the maximum of 2 electrons are put into orbital in the order of increasing orbital energies. The lowest energy orbitals are filled before the electrons are placed in the higher orbital energies. Okay, so electrons are going to occupy the lowest energy orbital first, then they are going to occupy the highest orbital. So for example, this is your lower orbital, this is your higher, and this one is your highest. So n is equals to 1 is the lowest energy orbital, then n is equals to 2. And last one is n is equals to 3. So electrons cannot go straight away to the n is equals to 3 orbital. It has to occupy the first lowest energy orbital. When it is fully occupied, then only it can enter the next higher orbital. How many electrons can come over here? 2 orbitals, that too with the opposite spin. As I have told you, there are 4 quantum number n, l, ml and ms. Right? So this is your principal quantum number, azimuthal quantum number, magnetic quantum number and spin quantum number. So over here this is a value of principal quantum number where n is equals to 1, 2 and 3. These arrows are shown to specify what is the spin of electron. For example, when I am putting my arrow as this, that means electron is having the value of spin quantum number as plus half. And similarly, when I am putting the value as of arrow like this, that means my spin quantum number is minus half. So spin quantum number has to be different because, as I have told you, electrons are negatively charged species, so they will repel each other. So if the spin of both the electrons coming into one orbital is different, like one is spinning clockwise, other is spinning anti-clockwise, so repulsion would be less. That is the reason why the spin has to be different. So this type of spin is having very high energy. This type of spin is having high energy because in both the cases spin is same. But in this case, when I am showing one arrow moving direction upwards and one having the downward direction, in that case your spin quantum number is different. One is having the value of plus half, next is having value of minus half. In that case repulsion would be very less. That's why all the 4 quantum number has to be different. Okay, let's move ahead. So as the value of both quantum number increases, the energy of an orbital also increases. So we have to consider both quantum number in the multi-electron system. principal quantum number and azimuthal quantum number, n and l. So how you will calculate? This is a relation which is known as Madelung rule. You have to calculate the sum of both the values. What is the value of n and what is the value of l? Then add both the value, and this is known as Madelung rule. He stated that electron in an atom fill the orbital with the lowest value of n plus l. So whosoever orbital is having the lowest value of n plus l would be the lowest energy orbital. So the electron will occupy that orbital first, and when that orbital is fully occupied, then it will go into the next higher orbital. And the second rule says when two or more orbitals are having the same value of n plus l, when their values are different, then the lowest one will get filled first and then it will go into the higher orbital. But what about the case when they are both having the same value of n plus l, because that is a possible case. So in that case, when two or more orbitals are having the same value of n plus l, the electron will occupy the orbital with the lowest value of n. So in that case, you have to see the value of principal quantum number. Whosoever is having the lowest value of principal quantum number will have the lowest energy, and electron will prefer to go into that orbital first. Let's see how the energy is calculated. So this is our principal quantum number, which is shown as n is equals to 1, 2, 3 and so on. And this is our subshells orbital, which are also known as azimuthal quantum number. The values are shown over here. So when l is equals to 0, orbitals are s. When l is equals to 1, it is p orbital. When l is equals to 2, they are d orbital. When l is equals to 3, they are f orbital. Right? So when n is equals to 1, only the possible value of n should always be minus 1. When n is equals to 1, only one possible value is there, which is known as 1s. When n is equals to 2, two possible values are there, 2s and 2p. This is l is equals to 0 and l is equals to 1. 2d is not possible because over here your value of n is equals to 2, so it has to be less than 2. That is, only two values are possible, 0 and 1. 2 is not possible. Similarly, when n is equals to 3, three values are possible, 0, 1 and 2. L is equals to 3 is not possible. So only three orbitals will be there, 3s, 3p and 3d. 3f is not possible. When n is equals to 4, three values are possible, 0, 1, 2 and 3, because L has always to be less than n. So in that case, 4 orbitals are possible, 4s, 4p, 4d, 4s. So this way you can calculate how many orbitals are possible and how it will having the lowest energy orbital and the higher orbitals. So these are the levels which we are going to discuss. So as I have told you, this is your principal quantum number is defined over here, and these are your azimuthal quantum number or your subshells. So how this energy will vary, let's see. This is the same figure which we put over there. So what happens is, we can plot line like this and we can draw like this. When we draw energies like this, in that case we can find out what would be the having the lowest orbital and which one would be having the higher orbital. So as in this lines are coming, so the lowest energy orbital is 1s, then is your 2s, then is your 2p, then is your 3s, similarly 3p, 4s, you can find out the values. Same values you can find out using the Madelung rule, which said, let's find the sum of n plus l, and that is your Madelung constant. Whosoever is having the lowest value of n plus l, which will be having the lowest energy orbital, and whosoever is having the higher n plus l value, that would be having the higher energy orbital. Like if we see 1s, 1s is having n1, s0, so the value over here is 1. This value of for 1s orbital is 1, 2s orbital 2 plus 0 is 2. For 2p orbital, the value is 3 because p is having l is equals to 1. So the value is 3. Over here 3 plus 0, for value of s the value is 0. So it is again 3. This one is having 4. This one is again having 4. So the value of n plus l has to be seen whether whenever we have to calculate what would be the order of energy of orbitals. And the second rule said when we having the same value, then the orbital which is having the lowest value of n would be the low energy orbital. Since in this 2p and 3s, 2p is having n is equals to 2 and 3p is having n is equals to 3. So this would be having the lowest energy orbital, then 3s. So 2p electrons are coming in 2p first, then in 3s. Same in the case of this. Over here, this having the value of n plus l is same in both the cases, but the value of 3p and 4s we have to compare. 3 is less than 4. So the low energy orbital would be 3p, then electrons will enter into the 4s orbital. So what is the Pauli exclusion principle? It said that all the energies, when we are calculating the energies and the 4 quantum number, the value of 4 quantum number has to be different. 3 quantum number n, l and m are needed to define an orbital. Each orbital may hold up to 2 electrons providing they have opposite spin that we have already discussed. Extra quantum number is required to define the spin of an electron in an atom. So these are 3 quantum number, or 4th quantum number is your ms, which will define your spin. So that is spin quantum number. The value can be different. So the value has to be plus half or minus half. So we showed these value by arrow moving upwards and arrow moving downwards. Thus 4 quantum numbers are needed to define the energy of electron in an atom. Pauli exclusion principle states that no 2 electrons in one atom can have all 4 quantum numbers same. No atom can have all 4 quantum number if the values of 3 quantum numbers are same, then the 4th value, that is the spin quantum number value, has to be different, then only the system is stabilized. So that is Pauli's exclusion principle. And the next is your Hund's rule, which is again said that when atoms are in the ground state, the electrons occupy the lowest possible energy level. So they have to occupy the lowest possible energy level when they are in the ground state. When we provide them some energy, then these electrons can go to the high energy orbital. But in the ground state, they have to have the minimum energy, minimum repulsion. So the possible scenario for that would be that they would occupy the lowest possible energy levels. To show the position of electrons in an atom, symbol these are used that we have already seen. So they are the main energy level and sub-levels, and we define the superscript like this. Now how we will define the electronic configuration? We are going to discuss this in the coming slides that we will be discussing in detail. For example, when hydrogen is having 1s1 and helium is having 2, and this is our second shell which is getting started. So second shell is 2, over there 2s is having 2 electrons, lithium is having 2s1 configuration and beryllium is having 2s2 configuration. Now s orbital is only one s orbital is possible. As I told you, shape is spherical, and p we have px, py, pz. Why? In different direction, px, py, pz. So it is having px, py, pz. So we denote these as like this. So each orbital can have 2 electrons. So one electron has to be here, one electron can come like this. So lithium would be having 2s1, that means s orbital will have 1 electron. But in beryllium, when next electron has to enter, it will prefer to go into 2s, not 2p, because we have already seen Mendeleev rule. After 2s is fully filled, that means 2 electrons which can be filled in 2s orbital has already come into this orbital, then the higher electron will go into the higher orbital, that is your 2p. So 2p is having 3 orbitals, so each orbital can again have accommodate 2 electrons each. So how many total electrons can 2p accommodate? 6 electrons. So how these 6 electrons, the next 6 elements will go into the 2p electrons. So 2p1, boron, carbon is having 2p2, nitrogen 2p3, oxygen 2p4, fluorine 2p5, and the neon will have 2p6. That means whole p orbitals are filled in this case. We have already seen after 2p orbital, electron will prefer to go into 3s. So 3s orbital will have sodium. So it would be having 1s2, 2s2 completely filled, next orbital 2p6 completely filled. So next electron will go to the next higher orbital, that is 3s1. So sodium is having this electronic configuration. So this is the table by which you can find out how many total electrons each orbital can have. As I have told you, this is your principal energy level. When n is equals to 1, the only type of L is possible is S. Only one S is possible. It is having only one orbital, spherical in shape. So it is having the maximum number of electrons it can accommodate is 2. You can also find out the values of maximum number of electron using this formula. So you can put the value of your n over here and you can find out 2n square. So you can find out the value of maximum number of electrons simply by putting the formula. For example, when n is equals to 2, two orbitals are possible, 2s and 2p. Now s has only one orbital, spherical shape. 2p or your 2p would be having 3 orbital. P orbital will always be having 3 orbitals possible, px, py and pz. So the total orbital possible in second principal energy level are 4, and each one will have 2 electrons each. So the total number of electrons are 8. Similarly, if you put a value over here, 2n square, I am putting n as 2. So this is over here, simple maths, 2 into 4, that will give you 8, right? So in the case of 3, let's put over here, if I'll put twice of 3 square, so this is 2 into 9, that will give us 18 electron, and 2 for the fourth energy level, that is giving 2 into 16, so that is 32 electron in the fourth orbital. So for the third shell, SPD, all are possible. For 3, F is not possible. So 3F orbital does not exist. So for S, we are having 1 orbital, P we are having 3 orbital, D are having 5 orbital. We have already seen the shapes of different 5 D orbitals. And so total orbitals are 9, and each orbital will be having 2 electrons each. So total are 18. You can calculate like this also, and you can calculate using the simple formula as well. And for the fourth shell, we'll be having 32 electrons. So with filling of all these electrons has given us the long form of periodic table, which we can see over here. So this is our long form of periodic table. These are divided into the different blocks, like this is S block, P block, D block, and these are F block. These are divided again into 2 categories, lanthanides and actinides. These are lanthanides, actinides. These are here when F blocks are getting filled. These are S blocks, so electrons are coming in S orbital. These are P block elements, so P orbitals are getting filled over here, and these are our D block elements. So D electrons orbitals are coming in, electrons are coming into D orbitals. So these are D blocks elements. These are also known as transition elements. So whatever the electrons are coming in whatever orbitals, that also defines the energy of that electrons. So S block elements, they will be having some common properties. P block elements will be having some common properties, and usually D block elements are also known as transition elements because their properties are between S block and P block, right? So let's move ahead. That's it for today's part. So in this first video, we have discussed 4 important properties of periodic table. First, we started with the effective nuclear charge. Then we discussed about the penetration of different orbitals. In the second part of the video, we discussed variation of S, P, D and F orbital in different energies. And lastly, we also consider some electronic configuration, how these electrons are getting filled in the whole periodic table. And if you want to read more about this topic, then you can refer to the book by S. Chand Publishing. The link of the ebook is given in the description box below. Please like, share and subscribe to these videos. Thank you so much.
All rights reserved. This video has been prepared for educational purposes only. No part of it may be reproduced or copied without the permission of the copyright holder.